can touch up here. I'm going to use a little bit of soft yellow powder. It will set the formulas that you've had on, that you've just put on. This looks lovely. And once you start to moisturise your lip colour, you already have a pigment. So just to give you that softness here. You look at skin here to here, you're keeping that. Yeah. We're just, this is the window of your eye, so this is where we're dressing. Here we're neutralising. You can't see any redness, pigmentation or anything because you've got a little bit of coverage. So the first thing that we look at is in terms of colour matching. So I'm looking at natural pigment and tone on skin. So I may look at your eye here, I may look around your neck here, and these are the areas that we're looking to colour match. You have a little bit of redness and pigmentation here, which is completely normal. But let's start with the base and let's start freshening skin for you.
Thank you.
So tell me, what's your idea of natural? What would you like?
I think I usually prefer stuff that doesn't involve super big lashes. I think that's usually my main part with natural makeup. I also lean more to browns instead of blacks when it comes to eyeliner. But other than that, not too stuck on anything.
Right, so, you know, for me, you've hit the nail on the head. You know, we're working with the natural tones and the natural undertones of your skin. You have a fair complexion, so we're not trying to change your complexion in any way. We're just going to even skin and just give you a more polished, neutral, fresher view of already how you are. So it's just about working with and enhancing the skin to be more even. The most important thing for this natural makeover, it's got to be your skin prep. So we're just freshening your skin. And then we're going to start to work in some primers onto the skin. So I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes. I'm going to work in a hydrator into skin. And the more natural products that you have, skin mist. I use a very particular one by Sunday Riley, which I've always used, which just absorbs into skin. So this is where you're getting a lot of your moisture from. We've freshened skin, we've added a fluid moisturiser into skin. I'm now going to add in an eye primer. If you look up for me a second, please. And this is just to make sure that we've got a nice bit of texture underneath the eye so that your makeup under the eye just goes in nice and smooth. So these things are really important because they allow the makeup to sit more naturally on the skin and the formulas to blend in to hydrated skin. In terms of your skin texture, what's that normally like? What's your skin texture?
I mean, right now, especially seeping up all those sort of like hydrating things, I can tell my skin always feels dry to me. Whether it actually is dry, I'm not sure, but it always feels like it wants that moisture and lotion.
Okay, so I'm going to use a nice serum. I'm going to use a nice serum, and the serum will lock in the moisture into skin. So that's always nice. If you feel a little bit of dryness, use a nice skin serum that will absorb in. And then if we need to, we can use a bit more moisturiser on the skin. And that's your kind of key essentials in terms of skincare, your cleansing, toning, skin mist, serum, eye cream. These things tend to there we go. And that should leave your skin feeling really nice and comfortable and fresh.
I love it. I would love the skincare in general. It's really nice.
So the skincare is the element now that when I touch skin, I have to make sure that that skin is ready to be able to receive makeup. I'm going to use a little bit of balm, which I'm just going to blend an illuminating balm just to give you, and this is a really lovely product.
It smells lovely too.
So it just gives you that extra hydration and illuminates the skin texture. That way you have to prep your skin in order for you to be able to put makeup on. And that's the most important part. Okay. And if I need more, I'll work more. And I tend to use, using fingers, using brushes. You want to warm some product into the skin. How does that feel for you at the moment? Yeah? Does it feel comfortable? Yeah. Okay, so now we can start to work and start introducing some makeup into skin. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at some areas of pigmentation, which you may see as redness. So we're going to neutralise those areas on skin. And we're going to use the most important thing, which everybody needs to realise. In order, before you start putting makeup on formulas, you need to correct the pigmentation and tones. So this is what a corrector will do. A corrector will neutralise. So if you open your eyes for me a little bit, I'm just going to start to blend and buff into skin where I've put the primers. Some corrector. So once you start to see, so we start with under the eye area first, because that's normally where we've got a little bit of shadowing. And again, if you're doing this yourself, you can, and I will start to use fingers where I feel that I need to blend and warm more product in. But you see and you can feel, because we've prepped the skin, the product just glides in naturally into skin. So it doesn't look heavy, it doesn't look caked. The aim behind this, before you actually even put any form of concealer or foundation, is just to correct tone and neutralise tone on skin where you can. So all depending, so you're in full control as to how, but you'll tend to find that once you start neutralising skin, and remember you haven't walked in with any form of concealer or foundation, once you start to correct skin, you'll start to find that you'll start to even out, and your natural tones will come through. So the colour in your eyes will pop, your brows, your natural lip colour, your natural cheek colour will come through, a lot more evenly, and that's really what you're working with when you're actually doing makeup. So you're not putting colour on, you're blending neutral tones into your skin. So now we're going to use a little bit of concealer. So I just want to, where I can, start to use some product. And all the application is quite light because you're not trying to go for a very caked effect, and you control how much coverage. So less is more. So you just put where you need. Okay. Again, you know, this is, you are in control as to how much product you put on. So I always start with less because I can always add, but you can't take away too much product. How do you like your coverage for natural makeup? How do you like it?
I think when it comes to coverage, I'm always more concerned with, again, like the red areas and whether my kind of acne, like spots are showing up or not. But once they're covered, I'm always quite comfortable.
Okay, brilliant. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to use a product, so Stick Coverage Foundation. Are really, really good products, okay? I'm going to use a more cooler tone because, again, we're still correcting and we're still, so I may take around these red areas and we just want to buff. So I may use some tools of the trade where you may just use a buff brush. A full coverage brush will buff the product into skin so it sets. So this is going to help complement for you to get your coverage. So you've got the full coverage brush. You've also got this full coverage touch-up brush where you can go into smaller areas. So again, so now I don't want to be doing stripes, I want to be pressing this formula into skin to neutralise because we're still correcting. That was nice. Okay, so now let's just do, missed a little bit, so I'm going to go back and just grab a little bit of corrector. As you said, those pigmentation red areas are your main concern.
Thank you.
So once you learn how to cover them and you learn the products that you can use to apply that coverage. And bearing in mind, we haven't got any foundation on because we're still correcting skin. We're now going to go in with a foundation. And one of my favourite foundations that I use, which is by Lovely. You've got a choice of a couple actually. So let's have, how do you like your coverage?
That's a difficult one because I think once the spots are gone,
That's your main.
Yeah, I've never kind of had the time to think about coverage because I've been so worried covering up the spots that
Okay,
yeah.
Because you mentioned earlier on that your concern was, we've got a couple of things going on here because one was the dryness of skin.
Yeah.
And sometimes you use a couple of different formulas or a couple of different things around skin. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use a serum because I want to lock in a little bit more moisture into your skin. Says I. And I want a flat, 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 flat. Okay. Okay, maybe not. So I'm going to use something like this. Let's have a look and see where we go. So around the outside, I'm going to use a serum foundation. So now I'm going in with foundation and formula onto your skin. We used a bit of foundation stick, but I'm using a serum. Again, especially as you are coming to the end of summer, the most important product for you is your SPF to protect you, and a 50 SPF to protect you against
especially with like long-term skincare.
But now you're going into the winter. So this is where you're going to need to lock in a little bit more moisture. Into skin. And then I'm going to use a foundation just around your pore area, which has a little bit more coverage. Could have actually put that. And you might not even need all of this. Now this foundation is really good. It's a kind of second skin matte foundation. I'm quite happy to share this foundation. Is by a makeup artist who came out with a brand, Amy Connolly, and her products are amazing because they are second to skin. So, and I'm not even using all of it. You can touch up here, but ensure that you buff that in so you're pressing on your areas of redness. Okay, so we're going to use a setting powder first of all. Again, it's by the same makeup artist, and I actually want to just press a little bit of formula into skin. So use a setting powder which is translucent. It will set the formulas that you've had on, that you've just put on. So this is what we're going to do, and we're pressing. So your brushes come into it. They're really important because it's the size of your brushes that you're using to do the work. But this is giving me quite a smooth. Which this looks lovely and natural. And I'm actually going to just dust a little bit of this setting powder on the lid of your eyes. Because we are going to go in with a shadow. So that is our base. Yeah, so we've got a nice neutral. So the work, you have to put the work in to achieve a kind of clear canvas. I'm now going to lift the tone in your skin, not with a bronzer as some people. I'm just going to use a warm tone powder, which will just warm up your skin quite naturally, but it's not as strong as a bronzer. So I'm using this, and it's almost like a little cheeky way of just naturally contouring you. When you use something like this that's softer, it's taken away the focus on the redness. Yeah, so it's just giving you a nice warm lift. Yeah, and that's before we've actually put any blusher. So you're starting to now, your eyes start to, with a makeup artist, the pupil of your eyes, your pigment and the blue in your eyes becomes more prominent, your lip colour becomes more prominent, and you get to see the opportunity and what you're working with to create a really nice natural canvas. We are going to put a nice little bit of blush on the apples of your cheeks. Actually, we're going to use a smaller brush. Let's use something quite smaller. Now, it's actually going to be quite soft. And not to go in with too much pink, I'm actually going to use a nice highlighter just to give you a little bit of a sun-kissed glow. So now you've got some tone going into skin, and you've just got a nice natural glow. Nothing too intense. So you can see that, you can see a nice highlight there. And if I wanted to, I could just put a little bit of something into your brow gel, and I would actually be able to get away with, and a bit of mascara. I'm just going to texturize your brows a little bit with something a bit soft, because your brows are a nice perfect shape.
Oh, thank you.
So if I'm doing something at your brows, I'm not even starting at the front, because I don't want that harshness. I want to keep that softness with your eye. So I'm just going to give you a little definition at the end. Yeah, you've got a lovely brow shape. So nothing too heavy. So the same theme throughout, again, which is when you're putting makeup on, you have to set it. So we put a little bit of setting powder on the lid of your eyes. We're now going to use a neutral colour before we go in and put, that's perfect. So this does exactly the same. It's just taking down any discoloration, pigmentation. So it's just neutralising tone. Which is perfect. Now, this is one of the things that people find and everybody finds quite difficult. Eye makeup. Okay, so with eye makeup, you can keep it quite simple. You've got some setting powder, you've used a base colour, and now you just want to put, you're dressing the eye.
Okay.
So it's in terms of almost the equivalent of layering clothes. You're dressing your eyes. So think of it like this. And one of the most convenient and easiest and nicest products, if you get a nice cream shadow product with a hint of colour, that is enough. So we're just going to blend a nice soft, and like you said, you like the browns, the neutrals, and nothing too much, not too much on your brush. And even I had a little bit too much there, but I can take away. And again, not too heavy loaded. So you just want a little bit of product. And even with that, I'm going to use the other side because I've got far too much. Make sure you buff it out. You know, again, you can go in with these products, you can put them on with fingers. I'm going to go back in with the nude tone and just buff out and make sure okay, so you've got a soft amount of shadow on your eye. So we decide where we're going to go here, and because we're keeping things natural, I'm going to use a powdered eyeliner. I am going to use a gel eyeliner, but I'm going to use a powder first of all. The powder just softens you as a formula. So again, we're going to use a couple of brushes here. Let's find. I'm going to use a very fine any excess. And that's fine if you just keep your eye just exactly how it is. And this is for me just to gauge. Open your eye for me a second. Yeah. So with a powdered eyeliner, it's softer. It's not so intense. And that's what you want with a more natural makeover. Again, you're just dressing your eye. So, I may buff this out a little bit, but I'm actually going to use another eyeliner. And I'm going to use the eyeliner in the inner socket of your eye, because this is where I'm going to get my definition from. So I want to make your eye pop a little bit more. So if you can look up for me, please. Look up. So here now, look down a little bit. So here now, it is underneath your lash line. It tickles and it feels very weird. You okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So underneath your lash line is where we want to put. Look down for a second. You okay?
Yep.
Perfect. You look that way for me. And it tickles, it's weird. Thank you. So yeah, if you look down for me. Okay, we'll start here. So we're just going underneath. Okay. So we're just trying to, it tickles, I know it feels really weird. Let's get a little bit more product on the brush. Okay, yeah. And it's all just the definition around the eye. You haven't got that heavy line across. Look up for a second. Okay. That's more than enough darkness because we haven't even got the mascara on. Yeah. So remember we said this was going to be natural. So once you understand the steps of how you're layering and doing your eyes, you can intense, you can go softer, you can go harder, you can go a little bit more intense with that. And I just want now, let's get a mascara wand. What's really nice is, and all depending on how you want to do this, I use brown mascaras, I use mauve mascaras.
Okay.
The softer it is, the better. So this is a really intense smoky eye mascara, so I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use Amy Connolly's mascara, which is just nice and it's soft.
Okay.
And this just adds to. And I'm even going to take away some product on this because I don't want it to be too intense. look down for me. When you apply mascara, because you lined directly underneath your eyes, you're applying that mascara. Look down for me. So if you go directly underneath, all of your work of lining, that's soft enough just to go back in, just to lighten, because now you've got some formula, you've got some product on. I'm just going to go back in with a little bit of concealer. I'm going to use a little bit of soft yellow powder just to finish. And it just smooths around the window, keeps it nice and fresh. So now you can just see you've got a natural tone and pigment that's come up into your lip. So your natural lip colour has come up. Your eyes are dressed nicely. You've got a little bit of definition around your cheeks. So you've almost got like a soft contour going on. Because you've got the pigmentation, we've neutralised it and used a warmer tone powder to lift you and give you that soft bronze glow. We've used a little bit of highlighter to keep you light and fresh underneath the eyes. And now I'm just going to go in with something that's very soft, very natural, nothing too intense. If you look down for me, actually let's put a bit of texture on your lip, because you did say that dryness was one of your key concerns. So let's put a bit of texture and moisture in your lip. And now there are so many nice balms with SPFs. So this is just, and once you start to moisturize your lip color, I don't need to put a heavy lipstick on. You already have a pigment in your lip already, which is nice enough to dress the lip. And then we're just going to use a soft gloss, which can take you from daytime to evening. The next time we'll do a part 2 of how we take this daytime to evening. So just to give you that softness here. So light reflects off of the eye around here. Finished.
Thank you so much.
Have a look and see how you feel.
Oh wow, I love the lip colour as well.
So that's your natural lip colour. If you look at skin here to here, you're keeping that.
Yeah.
We're just, this is the window of your eye, so this is where we're dressing. Here we're neutralising. You can't see any redness, pigmentation or anything because you've got a little bit of coverage.
So nice.
Once you start to understand what natural, and you get your tone of comfortable and natural, understanding how you're correcting, neutralising skin, how you're dressing the eyes, cheeks and lips, then, you know, you can branch off from there. But this just looks like you, very natural, very pretty, but very feminine, which you are. So thank you very much.
No, thank you. It's honestly so nice, and it does feel like it's like, you can tell I've got makeup on, but it's so seamless that, especially the skin, it just looks like healthy, glowing skin that you don't immediately think foundation. You think, wow, her skin is kind of glowing, but you wouldn't know that all those spots are hiding under there or anything.
It's just, you know, and the spots will, blemishes and things, they appear. We live in a world and a society where we've got a lot of pollution. Sometimes the water's very harsh. So that's where the skincare element kind of comes in. But if you prep the skin, which is, it's harder to do more natural because you want to make sure the skin's right so that it can receive the makeup.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.